We have always maintained the position at the White House that the president was well within his constitutional authority to do so. And this decision proves that President Trump and our administration have always been right from the beginning. He will continue to utilize the Alien Enemies Act to remove foreign terrorists and Tren de Aragua members, vicious gang members from American communities.
Donald Trump just crushed the woke left by winning this decision in the Supreme Court that he can, in fact, use the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to destroy the cartels that have invaded America, because that's exactly what the woke left under Joe Biden did. Is they allowed our country to be invaded by a foreign force illegally, and now Donald Trump has to clean up their mess like always. So welcome to the right, and let's jump in.
Now we have a Fox News alert. The Supreme Court just cleared the way for Trump to deport illegals even faster. The High Court ruled that Trump can use the Alien Enemies Act to send Venezuelan gangbangers to a mega prison in El Salvador. This is a huge ruling in Trump's favor and a major win for the country. After, as you know, D.C. Judge James Boseberg ordered a stop to the deportations. So this is pretty significant. These deportations, Caroline, can keep going.
This is a massive legal victory, Jesse, a massive victory for law and order and for our constitutional republic and the sovereignty of the United States of America. We called on the Supreme Court to rein in these activist judges like Judge Boseberg, who was completely out of line in trying to say that the president didn't have the executive authority to deport foreign terrorists off of our soil. We have always maintained the position at the White House that the president was well within his constitutional authority to do so. And this decision proves that President Trump and our administration have always been right from the beginning. He will continue to utilize the Alien Enemies Act to remove foreign terrorists and Tren de Aragua members, vicious gang members from American communities. And because of this ruling, the United States of America is a much safer place. Our team will get to work tomorrow to deport these heinous, violent foreign terrorists from our neighborhoods.
And you had another couple critical wins in the court with regard to Doge. Tell us about those. That seems to be making progress.
Yes, absolutely. There have been many wins that the mainstream media has failed to cover, particularly over the weekend. The Supreme Court also ruled that the president does, in fact, have the authority over federal funding, that he can dictate what funds can go out the door and what can't, so long as they are part of the executive branch. So we have always, again, maintained that every executive order the president has signed, every executive action that he has taken has been well within his executive authority. And Doge is doing a tremendous job at cutting back at the waste and the fraud and the abuse that have been ripping off American taxpayers, that have not been aligned with our interests here in our country. So we're going to continue the president's agenda. Again, he's well within his constitutional authority, and it's great to see the Supreme Court reining in these activist judges who are wearing robes but are acting as judicial activists, not as real judges and real arbiters of the law.
All right. Lawyers wrong. I can't believe a lawyer would ever be wrong. It just amazes me. They think they're always right. I guess not this time. Sorry, Boseberg. We love you, but we're sorry.
The woke left has done everything it possibly can for years to get all of these people in here because they are losing the demographic battle. They need voters. People are leaving the party. They're not having kids on the woke left because, quite frankly, who would want to? And conservatives are having more kids. They're having more families. And people are moving. They're losing the war. They needed all of these people to come in. They were going to saturate all of their states before the 2030 census. And that way they were going to steal the House, basically making it so no Republican could ever hold a majority in Congress again. That was their whole plan from the get-go. That's what all of this has been about, is stealing government away from actual Americans, Native Americans, citizens. Well, I mean, Native Americans as in like native citizens, but Americans, and then stealing it to the woke left so they can do whatever they want. I mean, they tried to hijack our country, but they want to gaslight everyone else into believing that kicking these people out is against the law, is the un-American thing, is Nazi and fascist. Meanwhile, they're the ones literally hijacking the government away from their own people and then trying to install their own idea of what they want America to be, which is anything but America. They've been shredding the Constitution for years, and this has been a slow brewing war between them and us, and it's all been on this one thing, the 2030 census. And that's why you've heard, the WEF talk about the global reset. It's always been 2030, 2030, 2030. I wonder why that is. I wonder why that's the date. That's because the most powerful country in the world was basically going to be stolen by that point and then force the entire West into following suit. I think that has been the game plan all along. But finally, between the Supreme Court and all of these new rulings, we are starting to crush the woke left, kick these people out, all of these cartels that the woke left has allowed to come into our country, an invasion, and actually start to reclaim our sovereignty. It is insane that we've even had to do this, but clearly the woke left has shown they have no interest in preserving America. They want to mutate it into their communist dystopia. But hit that like button and notification bell if you're enjoying the video, and let's get back in.
Well, the president was very clear in the comments that you just played, which is that he's talking about the semiconductor industry, which is one of the most coveted industries in the world, one of the most national security important industries in the world. Very few other countries are able to compete in this space, and all of those jobs left for Taiwan. And so the advanced semiconductor industry, which is essential to our national security, has been taken out of the country. And so he's talking about a program in which you have a knowledge transfer to Americans of how to do a very specific manufacturing process. That's completely separate and apart from the fact, as you mentioned, that President Trump, through 212F, has put a $100,000 fee on new H-1Bs. We're already seeing a dramatic change in the processing of these visas as a result of that. The Department of Labor has launched Project Firewall to fight illegal discrimination against Americans and illegal abuses of the H-1B program. You also have the highest standard of vetting that have ever been in place in new visas, including foreign student visas. The State Department has revoked tens of thousands of visas, and they're just getting started with tens of thousands of more. We have a new focus on denaturalizations. We have a new focus on cutting back on welfare tourism and welfare migration. And of course, you've seen, again, for the first time in over half a century, net negative migration to this country. You have more foreigners leaving the country than those that are being added on a permanent basis. The last time that happened, again, was over half a century ago during the period in American history in which we had net negative migration for an extended period of time.
Folks, the entire globalist agenda revolves around basically fracturing America and using it just like a tool, ending its sovereignty and just taking it over. But what Donald Trump is doing is bringing back sovereignty, reestablishing our border, kicking out all the illegals, all the criminals, bringing jobs back to Americans, bringing industrialization back to America, bringing access and opportunity back. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a transition. But this is the way it has to go. We have to invest in Americans first, for America first. And Donald Trump is the only one who's doing that. He may do some crazy stuff, but he is putting Americans first. And it is driving the woke left mad. They simply can't stand it. Because by 2030, either this country is going to go dystopian or it's going to be a rebirth of its citizens for the future of America. But thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below about what you think is going on with our border and immigration. If you think Donald Trump is doing a good job, like, subscribe, take care, and I'll see you folks on the next one.